Welcome to the first episode of the Top Jobs podcast, focusing on exploring the economic and labor opportunities arising after the demise of coal mining and traditional carbon intensive industries in Europe, and with an eye to making this transition a truly just one for the communities, for the youth, and for the small businesses. Our first episode finds us in the Croatian town of Novska, which is part of the Sisak Moslavina county, a region synonymous in the former Yugoslavia with chemical industry, oil refineries, metallurgy, this kind of stuff. It may sound cliched, but this region is firmly fixated on the economy of the future with an ambitious aim for, wait for it, becoming Europe's video gaming hub. Terms like Europe's Silicon Valley have also been thrown around. And this is not just some lofty sounding and abstract plan, it's already happening here at the Pismo incubator, which could be described as the first step in a future ecosystem. To find out more about it, we have with us Andrea Sheperac. She comes from the Simora Regional Development Agencies, and we'll talk to her about the project. Hello, Andrea.
Hi.
So my first question was, why was the town Novska, which is a small town close to the Bosnian border, why was it picked as the seat of this ambitious, let's say, video gaming hub and valley?
Well, the story about choosing Novska is, let's say, a funny one, because we had this information that the call for the building of incubator will be published, and we had months to prepare. One of the conditions of the call was to have land plots or buildings in which we can accommodate incubator, and like we found these two buildings in Oslo like in 2 days because technical documentation needed to be done and
Right.
building permits and everything. So, I guess Novska was first to react.
I see.
And then, of course, they were really interested in doing this.
And in that sense, why was also a video chosen as the industry to focus on? And to
Yeah,
develop? It's very unusual.
Yeah, well, first of all, as you said, we are metal processing in county, wood, food processing and everything else. And we were facing young people living Sisak Moslavina County, and we decided, okay, we need the industry that will keep them here. And at one point, the guy that worked here was thinking, well, gaming is stronger financially than music and film industry together. So, and everybody that was born after 90s, I think, is a gamer. Like my niece is born with the phone in her hand. I really she's 2 years old and she knows everything.
It's already part of her personality.
Yes, so and we just needed something that we can attract and keep young people not living for Ireland or Germany or whatever, because we had this unfortunate destiny that one bus daily left in some European country with young people or young families from here.
And in that sense, yeah. So you started this very exciting project called Pismo. What would that mean in English?
It's Business Incubator of Sisak Moslavina County. It's like acronym.
Okay. It's the acronym. Yeah. And the word itself, does it mean?
Pismo means on Croatian letter.
A letter, yeah, because that's what in Bulgarian is the same thing. So it, as I understand, it began initially as an idea in 2016. Right, and the actual center was built and opened 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, we applied for the EU funds in 2016. I think it was New Year's Eve or something like that. And we signed the contract in 2017. The first building, the other one, the office space, was built in 2019. 2020 was this one. And they became fully operational. And now, let's say we are celebrating 5 years anniversary here.
Can you give us like a brief overview of the centers that have been built so far and that's already operating?
Yeah, the first building, we call it Pismo 1. It's an office space, and it's totally for offices for our gamers. At this point, we have more than 80 companies working here. Some of them are using virtual offices, of course. Some of them are here, and offices are like for 2, 3, 5 people. It's various size. We offer them space, equipment, computers, printers, and everything. And this other building here, Pismo 2, Pismo 2, it's
That's the one where we're doing the
it's
interview.
only, let's say, for testing. We like to call it our testing facility because gamers come here and they like test music. They film in motion capture or photogrammetric studio. They use VR simulators. Like they have these crazy ideas and they change our application on simulators and they're doing their stuff. And this facility is also for practical studies for high schools, for our courses and everything. And in one sense, this building has became also touristical spot of Novska and Sisak Moslin County. In May and June, we have like 1,500 pupils from all over Croatia coming here just to play on simulators and to see new video games. So, we were thinking about that we should establish tourist agency.
This could be a new business opportunity.
Yeah.
In a way, they're coming here it's gaining fame around the country. It's already becoming known.
Yeah.
In that sense, like from the start, going back to the starting point, like what was the funding strategy? Like what was the how did the resources get amassed for the creation of this?
Yeah, well, the first big amount was from the EU funds, the 3 million euros that we had for the construction. I guess if we didn't have that money, we would find money somewhere else. But that was really a good start for us. And then we had a good cooperation with Croatian Employment Services. They provide support for startups and some other measures. And of course, Croatian government is behind us. We had a lot of talks and lot of let's say negotiations with all the ministries. And they are 100% behind us because, we proved that it can be done. Because I guess if we are empty and just build the building and nothing is here, then nobody would give us support.
So you say, was it the hardest part convincing the politicians, the guys higher up in the power than the, let's say, local residents? So
I think it was the same. The local residents was like gamers. They have long hair and they only play games and they're like zombies and everything. And now when they see our startups and they're like businessmen and they behave really good and everything, now they are proud.
Oh, the perception has changed.
Yeah,
the perception. A gamer can be.
Yeah, that was for me personally, because I'm from the beginning here, the perception of people around us, that was the hardest part. Almost hard as building this.
Yeah, because coming from let's say a traditional some kind of changing minds is the way it lies. So the project includes a variety of activities and programs that aid at supporting local gaming startups, SMEs. And can you tell us more about this what kind of support do you provide to these startups, and what can people looking to get into the video gaming industry?
Well, the first thing is that we provide education. So at this point, we are strongly focused on 3 types. We have 6 months education in Unity and Blender, graphics and programming in gaming. Every generation lasts 6 months, 20 people per group, so 40 people living here in Novska. The most of them, like 90%, 95% come all over Croatia, not from Novska, maybe few people from Novska. And we have 3 months of education in Unreal, which is also programming in gaming, and that is funded through the digital vouchers from Croatian government. And we have here educators that are doing only that, 8 hours per day, 6 months, or 8 hours per day for 3 months. And the goal is not, just to finish education. Their final work is a video game. So we will have in December the final conference for this generation, and they need to show their work. And the best, of course, will be awarded, but they cannot finish the education if they didn't do the video game. Of course, they can pair up or in teams of 4 or 5 people, but that's the must.
So these are for the people who can for the people interested in doing education in terms of becoming a video gaming. Is a technician, or what's the?
They're like basic gaming programmer, something like that. Okay. In high school we have a gaming technician. They are 4 years program, and when they finish, they can choose to work or to go to university. It's the same.
Is it? How does it different? Because from the programs that you offer here at the center and the ones in high school, are they like different in any way? The ones in high school are obviously aimed at people who are still younger, younger kids, and the ones who like to sign up for courses here, what are the requirements? Do they have to be? They must have finished high school, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, the high school is first of all formal program. It's approved by Croatian ministries and agencies and everything. And students do not learn only gaming; they learn Croatian, English, geography, and everything. Yeah, and here for the 6 months training, they need to be 18 years of age. And they need to have just basics knowledge. We have a test for them before we start, because for 40 people that we can take here, we have 250 interested young people, and some of them come because they think playing video games it's fun. But we have like a written test and conversation with them. Our educators, they see somebody they know if he's up to it or not, and then we make a selection. And for now, we had 9 generation, 40 people, that's 360, maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 people gave up because after 2 weeks, they see it's not for me. So they give it's okay for us. And after that, we give them support so they can establish their own business here. Being incubator, they then receive support from City of Novska or from Croatian Employment Services. It's up to 20,000 euros for 2 years, so they can develop their game or application or whatever, and not worry about money.
And as far as I understand, also the training itself doesn't cost them any money.
Nothing.
And not only that, they actually even get paid.
Yes, so Croatian minimal salary, it's around 800 euros, something like that.
So something
and so they live here. It's a good thing that we have, let's say, inventory of accommodation here in Novska, private houses and everything, because every generation lives here and they stay here. So we have babies here born, marriages.
Have established, because this program has been running for, is it since
from now 9 years.
Oh, 9 years.
Yeah,
also, the training itself began even before this.
The training started in 2017 when we started with this. We borrowed the space from the City of Novska, and our goal was not just to build infrastructure. We knew that we needed people. So we educated them.
Came first.
Yeah, and when the building was finished, we just put them in the incubator so that we have our first residents there.
I see. And when
Yeah.
did they? Because as I understand, there are also dormitories where for these students that have been built.
Mhm.
I guess they were built a little bit later.
Yeah, because everything opened up when first
Mhm.
people came here and stayed in Novska. The mayor of Novska just saw big opportunity and the chance for Novska to rise up, and they started to build this student dormitory, and then accommodation. Private investors came, and they're building now a few buildings, and people that I have a house, but maybe I have additional space. I rent it out.
Uh-huh.
So everybody in Novska now has some business.
Now they've turned into believers.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
see.
And we have like coffee shops that dedicated to gaming,
Oh,
and
really?
gym that has some special, some special times and prices for gamers.
So
and,
in a way, secondary industries are already popping
yeah,
up related to. You can see
yeah,
how the ecosystem is kind of forming right in
yeah,
front of your
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
That's amazing. So then, in terms of like events,
Mhm.
so does the incubator also organize? What kind of events do you?
Yeah,
organize?
we have the biggest one is Global Game Jam. It's the one in end of January. It's origined from USA, I think Florida, or I don't know really. So we have everybody everywhere in the world. It's the same date. It's 48 hours, and we received the topic of the contest on Friday afternoon. They come here in sports hall in high school in Friday afternoon, and they don't sleep for 48 hours, and they need to make some video game. And it's we have jury here in Novska from big gaming companies, but they also go into the global contest, and I don't know, jury on the global level decides which are the best. That's the one. We have smaller local game jams where our gamers here internally fight among themselves in creating video games. We have a lot of conferences. The next one is on 28th of November by European Commission. We have lots of visits from all over the world because they heard that some small city there in Croatia has done something, and they want to see it. And number of events that are done by City of Novska, by like Invest in Novska and something like that. So we're never empty.
The calendar is full in that sense.
Yes.
And this because the idea is to really you're trying to foster entrepreneurship, like with the specifically in that industry as we know it. And do you, because this is an incubator, and do you also already have let's say game developers who have already started with some games? Can they come here and accelerate their ideas as well? Like do they get some support and advice on
Yeah.
on
We as a regional development agency, we give them support in mentorship, in business education skills, in pitch trainings, in finding investors. We have this big project, European Digital Innovation Hub. BISM is on the map of hubs in Europe, and we are obliged through this project to find them investors to learn. Now we are preparing big pitch training for them, and for now we have I think more than 1,000 projects that came out from this this facility. Of course, for instance, we have educational application for nature park. We have application for the biggest museum in north of Croatia. We have like web application and everything. Our biggest video game is due on December 3rd. And it's the first game that it's financed by private investor from Litva, I think.
maybe.
And we have like really, really high expectations, and I think the owner of this company knows that we have high expectations because he's probably hiding somewhere. He's doing this video game for last, I think, 2 or 3 years, and
Oh, that's
he went
exciting.
out with trailers and everything.
It's like a
But
movie.
yeah, but now on December 3rd, it's final version, and he is going out on the Steam, so we will see. We are expecting our first unicorn, so
Oh,
yeah,
is it? This is also a possibility, I guess, an investor, let's say one who just has an idea for a game, or so he can contact startups here or just developers. He
yeah,
can
yeah,
call Nostro,
yes,
even here the center, and
yes,
say, "Hey, I just would like to develop such and such game. Can we
yeah,
do it?" It's like
yeah.
kind of like a production, I
Yeah,
guess, for a
yeah.
movie.
We have a lot of investors from all over. That we have one studio that is only hired all the time for shooting video games. You know, some people are fighting, shooting, and everything. And when I was talking with them, like they were saying, we have now 3 games that we are developing for somebody else, and that somebody else told them, "I just want this, this, and this, and the rest is on you." And he pays like I don't know how
Yeah.
many money. The rest of them is working on their own idea, but you know they need this side job to be profitable until they are finished with
So
their.
it's still a bit of a
Yeah, they need to be businessmen.
on both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me take you back to the EDIH program, the one,
Mhm.
what was it, the European Development
Digital Innovation
Digital
Hub.
Innovation Hub.
Mhm.
So, yeah, what's the essence of this? How does it specifically help? Because I understand it's a new program. It's a new
Yeah,
project.
it's funded from Digital Europe, and it was intended for, let's say, to create network in Europe of digital innovation hubs. And we applied together with 7 other partners, but we are like main applicant. It's specifically intended we need to help traditional industries to upgrade, to take on digital transformation and to understand digital transformation, not to be afraid of it. So we are developing, like, for instance, we have now digital twin for learning how to drive the excavator, and then we have some other application that help wood industry to do something. So we provide them digital tools so they can upgrade their processes and to be better productive, to shorten their time of production of something, and etc. And we use gamification strongly in tourism sector, in health sector, and other sectors.
So the EDIH, if I understand correctly, is for traditional kind of companies, businesses who would like to digitalize and gamify even their businesses,
yeah.
and they can approach you and get mentorship, advice, and even tools.
Yeah, tools are the most important. We have a lot of education through this program, but everybody at the end needs some practical knowledge and some tools. So yeah, its idea is to bring traditional industries and us as Peacemaker Incubator, and we have like Physics Institute and AI Center from LIPIC to join them, and this group can provide digital knowledge, and this group needs digital knowledge to improve their production processes. So that's the basic idea. For instance, our main financial agency of Croatia, FINA, came to us and said, okay, we need to improve our processes, and they are a public body. So we gave them all the knowledge we could to improve them.
So so the results that they have, you can see now on their website or something.
Yeah. They improved some of the processes because I guess everybody bureaucracy is is a burden. So
So I guess gamifying it and making it more accessible
approachable,
and more approachable. Yeah, it's one of your objectives. Go for it. So what about the since given that this is turning like becoming more and more successful. And you've seen, I guess, how the region used to be before this started. Was there a problem with the population, the way many rural regions in Europe experience? Do you think do you see an impact of this kind of trying to turn the tide on the population?
Yeah, I think the perception now and the opinion of, let's say, local residents, local politicians, community in general has changed enormously from the beginning. We had a lot of, I wouldn't say that anybody was against gaming. They just didn't understand why gaming and how come Sisak Muslim County's metal processing and the oil region is now gaming region. It's like, because
To change the mindset.
yeah, large part of our region is bordering with Bosnia. We have a border, and that's a rural part. Our towns are small. People are used to it. The image when you think about Sisak Muslim region is now you work in metal processing like in Željezara for 40 years,
Yeah.
and then you retire. That's it. And in 90s and early 2000s, when all these companies begin to vanish, people were like taken by surprise, like, what's happening? I don't know what to do, where
This
to
was
go.
supposed to be forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we came with this idea. But yes, I think the hardest part of my job, and I talk for myself, was convincing people. I don't know how many presentations, public speaking, adventures, talks with responsible persons I have done together with my team, just to change their point of view. So I think we have managed it. Of course, there's still smaller rural parts that are, focused on tourism, on agriculture, and they are saying.
From what I've understood, actually, this is Novskoye serving as a good example for the whole region, for the county, because it was just, like I said, it was just a small town. Nobody knows about it on the border with Bosnia, and now here it is. Suddenly, it's becoming a name, synonymous with video games.
Yeah.
And from other towns in the region, in Sisak Moslavina, are also coming up with their own kind of like ecosystems, sort of related. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, Sisak is a capital city of a region, and we have their technical school that it's one of the best in Croatia. They have like hundreds of projects. They're ecosystem for themselves, but we, let's say, use them as a pilot school for gaming. We introduced their gaming technician. It took us a year to go through bureaucracy and procedures, and then we enrolled the first generation. Now I think it's like 6th or 7th generation of people, of students, and that school now has new profession. It's called robotics technician. They have built a competence center, and like equipment there is something that I cannot comprehend. It's like big CNC machines, it's gaming equipment, it's robots, something like that, and they're doing great stuff. But somehow they saw it can be done, and they started to grow and grow and grow. We have in Petrinja drone programming, so also 6 months of education for people that are going to be programmers for drones, because we went to China, and like we were so happy, we are good, we are, everything, and we saw drones that transport people, and we're like, okay.
Really?
We're like, okay, we have a lot of work to do. But Petrinja is like a town that was hit by the earthquake in 2020, and to came out with drone programming in the middle of that, it was brave, crazy, and a good idea. And they're doing really good.
I mean, it's a brave way to help a town recover, to
Yes.
stand up on its feet quickly, I
Yeah.
guess, because I imagine that still you can see traces of the
Yeah.
earthquake damage. But now, so it's good that the whole region is kind of catching up on this new, so to say, industrial revolution.
Yeah.
We could say the
Of
one
course.
4.0, the digital revolution.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we're now looking into the future, and since this is one of the regions eligible for the Just Transition funding,
Mhm.
and what's in store for you? Like, from how is that good base that you've already built up with the Pismo incubators? How is that going to grow up and be scaled up?
Yeah, well, our region maybe done things with the Just Transition Fund a little bit different than other parts in Europe, because we have proposed 3 projects in our region, and those 3 projects will be funded. One of them is gaming center, the other is entrepreneurial incubators in all over region, but based on other industries, not gaming. Because we have found that due to the earthquake and change of climate, entrepreneurial climate, we don't have space for entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are now seeing that they need new knowledges, new skills, some new people working for them. So we heard them, and we are establishing 4 new incubators all over the region. And using Pismo incubator as a good model and base, we will develop the gaming center. It's on 8 acres, 4 buildings, university, student dormitory, incubator, and accelerator with all facilities, sport facilities, roads, and everything else. And hopefully we will start in next few months on construction.
Building that. And when do you expect this to be completed?
Well, my optimism says 2027, and my pessimism says 2028, because we need, because of the Just Transition, 2027 is the last year that it needs to be finished.
Period.
Yes. But you never know what
these plans. There's always something, but it's an ambitious plan, because is there? I mean, it sounds pretty unique. It's kind of like a university for gaming. Are there any other examples like that in Europe or in the world? Even?
Yeah, there are examples, but there are no examples for us that we can just copy paste. Right. We have talked with I don't know how many people from Europe. Today we are going to the University of Zagreb because we are doing this program with them. You have, like in Scotland, in Dundee, you have a university for gaming. You have, like in Germany, something. Okay. But it's not the same. So we are using parts of all of them. And we are going for study trip in France in, I think, January. We found there some universities, so we will go there and talk with them. But that's for university. Gaming centers as such does not exist in Europe.
Because this is going to be a lot more than just the universities. It combines, it's a multifunctional space.
Yes.
I understand. So it will include an incubator, much like the ones that we're in, but also an accelerator, right?
Yes, accelerator, yes. Because all of these companies have gone through incubation process, and they need now to move forward in acceleration. We have room for 200 more companies there. And in incubation space, it's primarily for testing video games. So, when you go into that space, it has 2,500 places, and they're all connected with the control room. So you have possibility to test your video game in real time.
Oh, directly.
Yeah, and this gaming center is its purpose is, you have here you have university, and here you have VR studio and accelerator, so they can go every day and learn practical stuff.
Directly practice their perfection, on the same
not
grounds.
just theory.
yeah, that would be, especially in an industry like that, I guess practice is everything.
Yeah.
And right, so we have the and then the campus includes various facilities, and there's also, apart from the next to the accelerator, there's a virtual studio that's connected to it. Can you tell us what's that about?
Yeah, Virtual Studio is intended for the biggest motion capture studio that will be present in, I think, in Europe, and it's will be equipped. Beside motion capture, it will have all the video equipment and the virtual reality equipment that enables, for instance, for a movie studio to come here and to do movie in this studio. For gamers, of course, to create a video game. Its size, it's you can bring the biggest truck inside and film it. Yeah. So we left this big, industrial doors, so the vehicles can go in and be filmed. And the equipment, it will be around 6 million euros just for the equipment there in studio.
No, that's massive.
Yeah.
And I also noticed there's supposed to be some kind of a power plant on the premises. What is that?
Yeah, the power plant is basically because all new buildings in Croatia, I guess in Europe also, needs to be built by the NZEB rule. It's a rule, it needs to be self-sustainable and with all energy efficiency and everything. So this power plant has, beside the power plant, this big parking lot with the solar panels. So we have electricity for all the complex there. We will, of course, be connected with the main power plant in Croatia, but we have enough electricity. We produce enough for our own purposes, for heating, for the electricity, and for everything. And that was our main goal, because we do not want to be depending on anything, and we need to be clean, and we need to use energy sources. So we have also for electric cars and everything else. So basically, let's say we could be operating on ourselves for the all energy.
Could be almost self-sufficient.
Yes.
You think? And what is the source of the energy? Like the renewable?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it in English. It's from the ground.
Geothermal, I think.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Actually,
if I say something, I would be saying wrong. I don't know how to translate it. Yes.
And so the entire project looks ambitious, looks well designed, and everything. What do you estimate? Like, what is the estimated cost of this project?
Well, today's estimation is 67 million euros. It's the price of the first and second phase. Of course, the prices will go up depending on the tendering. Public tendering always brings up the prices, and we cannot prevent that. That's just the rule of the market. But 67 million euros is our estimation, and that's how our technical documentation shows the costs. But that's the hardware, let's say so, equipment and buildings. There's also funds that will be necessary for new skills, for employees, because we predict that around 80 people need to be working there.
They will create 80 jobs.
Yeah. So, gardeners, teachers, cleaners, and everything else. It will be, at the moment we have in Regional Development Agency 50 employees, and we are talking about 85 new ones.
Perfect.
So it will be a big ecosystem. So the costs will be higher than that, but this is for now.
And what part of, speaking of, again, financing, like what part comes from the European, like, structural funds, and what is state subsidy or own contribution to that?
Yeah, we have from Just Transition Fund, it's 46.5 million euros. From that, 39 comes directly from European Commission and Just Transition Fund. The rest is national contribution, but let's say 46 is from the JTF. The rest of the money is from regional government, from city, from national government, and etc. We have received from the 2014-21 3 million euros for PISMA Incubator, and we have received from Digital Europe money. So we have a lot of funding, and thanks to the EU money, we will have a good project here.
That's great. And also, are private investors getting kind of interested in this?
Yes, we have a lot of inquiries, but as we are public bodies, we cannot. We need to be careful about private investors. So private investors are mainly for our gamers and startups. They help them
for the business.
in business. But we have strategic partner here in PISMA Incubator. It's the biggest Croatian telecom company. So they are our strategic partner and help us, especially in marketing purposes.
Yeah. And what would you say? What are the next steps for integrating the campus that you are building with other economic and educational institutions in Croatia and the region?
Yeah, well, we are talking with Zagreb University and Faculty of Electrotechnics and Informatics and etc. And as we are not educational institution, we need to learn their language and to be able to talk with them. University of Zagreb is going to be main institution that will lead our university. As I said, we are not educational institution, and it's illusory to expect from us to be running university. They will have they will be in charge, and several university from Zagreb University will be part of our university. We talked with other universities in Croatia. Some of them already did some classes here and sent people for practical classes. For instance, Osijek University, which is a very strong university. We have some private universities that are very interested in this. It's a field where I try to have several team members that can deal with, deans and teachers and professors.
It's difficult to do it.
Yeah.
I see. So at least, but it's Novska is becoming now a hotspot on the educational map of Croatia.
Yes. But they are suggesting, because one of the deans are suggesting that we open this university internationally, to other students, not only from Croatia, which is, of course, we don't have any remark for that. Wherever they come from, it's fine for us.
Yeah, you'll be expecting both. Exactly. National and international students.
Yes.
That's becoming a name. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for speaking to us. I think we'll be following this development of in Novska and the video gaming hub with great interest, and how it all develops. Yes, this was our first episode of Top Jobs podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and bye.